Hello Canada, welcome back to another edition of the Canadian Citizen Journal. I'm your host, alias Tagai. Well, lots of bad news. Looks like the Liberals have secured a minority government. Polls have closed down. They're going to continue again this morning. And Poilievre has lost his seat. Now, I got a whole pile of stuff I got to break down here. I'm sorry I'm late, and same thing with yesterday, not having an evening episode, but I've been working on something that kind of bugged me here a few weeks ago, and then I had some software issues and ended up having to do a massive computer changeover and kind of put it on the back shelf and got carried away at the election, and then I remembered it and I thought, I got to look into that. So I started looking into that damn ballot. I had to go back to my old computer and then try and get on. Anyways, I've been up for way too long. And what I found is remarkable. The corruption it's to the point where I'm completely on board with this separation thing, because I don't think we can fix Parliament. You know what? I'll get to that. Big show. Let's just start off with one of my favorite guys. For those who don't know, I'm kind of a math guy. Yeah, I do history and definitely study propaganda, but I'm a math guy. I like math. I've always been really good at it. Now, Albert Einstein wasn't just a brilliant math guy. He had superlative skills of words, sentences, paragraphs, and being able to put math into perfect English. And one of my favorite sayings of his, and I've said it on previous episodes, and this is what just happened to Canada. Well, not anybody who didn't vote for Liberal. You guys obviously are still there cognitively. But the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. That's what happened to Canada. I don't know what to say. I'm at a total loss. And the worst thing is there's so much material coming out right now from different people saying what they've seen. The media calling the election before votes were even counted. Them all locking lockstep. Like, there's a lot here that a person's going to have to start figuring timelines out. And I apologize. I'm going to hit on a few of these pointers. But I've been concentrating so hard on this I have to say the word bombshell. And I'm not even done. Because I'm having a really hard time solving the ballot of 91, we're going to call it, or we'll have to come up with some name. This is ridiculous. We'll start with Poilievre losing his seat.
Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
Ashley, thank you very much. There is a very surprising result coming out of the Ottawa area in a neighboring riding to Mark Carney's in Nepean. CBC News projecting Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has lost his longtime seat in Carleton. Take a look at the results from that riding. CBC News projecting a Liberal win for Bruce Fanjoy, who leads Poilievre by 4.5% and around 2,800 votes. That's enough for the projection, though, that he has won the riding. Poilievre has held that riding since 2004 through 7 consecutive elections. Last night, he said he wanted to stay on as party leader to continue the process of trying to bring Canada to change. That would mean now that he's lost a seat, another Conservative MP would have to give up the seat in a by-election. Poilievre also conceded defeat to Mark Carney. Let's listen to some of that early morning concession.
No, I don't want to listen to that. Now, this was the narrative right from the get-go. I'm showing you this because as of me posting it, this is the numbers. 168 Liberals, 144 Con, 23 Bloc, 7 NDP, 1 Green. Sad day, Canada.
Well, the difference was really Trump and Mark Carney. Donald Trump, I think, has really set the stakes for this election in a way that people understood at the doors. And the change of leadership. Mark Carney came in as a fresh, new, experienced leader for the Liberal Party, and I think people were looking for that too. So that really changed the playing field.
Yeah. The media sure helped with that, didn't they? I think the media should have been paying a little bit more attention to this.
You demanded action, and now it's time for the financial sector to deliver. To reach net zero, every country, every company, every bank, every investor, every pension fund around the world will need to make some big changes. In the run-up to COP26 in Glasgow, we have an enormous opportunity to bring climate change into the heart of every financial decision. And our plan will manage the risks from climate change while helping to seize the opportunities from a newer, greener economy. The UK has been at the forefront of innovation for centuries, brimming with ingenuity and a can-do spirit. It also houses the world's largest financial system. And by bringing them together, we can deliver the net zero world that you've demanded and that our future generations deserve. The world's coming to Glasgow. Let's reshape finance for a sustainable world.
By the way, the UK's burning. They're in the worst economic strife that they've seen in a long time. They're blaming it on Carney. Now, this is what we got to put up with now. Because now, with everything that's going on, media is going to try to do what they've done throughout this whole Trudeau legacy, this tenure of hell. And that's try to calm the West down and make it look like anybody who thinks that the system's broken and that it's not fair and that we don't live in a true democracy is crazy. And Westerners are nuts and they're going to retaliate. We're going to go out and start burning Teslas. Wait a minute. No, the Liberals do that. Sorry. Yeah. Right. We're going to start protesting and calling for the end of certain people. No, sorry. Hamas and Liberals do that. Right. Okay. Propaganda.
The word that keeps coming up again and again is polarization. So talk to me, John.
Well, I mean, our shows and shows across the country tomorrow are going to be where people start to vent, I think, and maybe where Liberals want to brag. I mean, the problem with the two political parties and their followers and voters, those who are entrenched, is both of the parties think the other one is an existential threat when in government. So Conservatives are going to be very angry, and also angry about the fact that, I mean, they had the Liberals on the ropes, and they've already put up with 10 years of the Liberals, so it's going to drive them crazy. And one last aspect in all of this is, as you know, Bill, probably from your texts and calls on my show, a cohort of Liberals these days, or a cohort of Conservatives, like to own the libs, and tonight they've been denied the chance to do so.
I know that you're eager to say something, Bill. Don't hold back.
Well, you just look at those numbers, and what you see is Canada becoming a two-party country.
But haven't we always been that way?
Well, no, I don't
long
think to the
time.
degree we're seeing right now with the NDP collapsing like that. So, yeah, people are going to be divided. Conservatives, we're already hearing from our listeners, I'm sure you are as well, sort of that core group that tries to reach out to you right away. And so far, Conservatives are angry with people who voted Liberal. But I don't think that anger will last long. I think it will turn internally pretty quickly, and they're going to say, what happened here? How did we have this in our grasp, change that we've wanted for so long, and it's now gone? And they're going to start to ask questions of their party. The only way that doesn't become really ugly is if the Conservatives can keep the Liberals to a minority.
Okay, So I'm going to straighten this out right now. Fear, hate, and division, people. If you watch my show, one of my favorite things to say, Propaganda 101. They are three-tiering you right now. First of all, it's not as bad as they're trying to make it out to be. We went from a 4-5 party system to a 2-party system. One of those parties consumed the rest of the socialists in that party. That's what happened. Conservatives didn't actually do that bad, considering if there would have been 3 leftist parties and all of them would have split their votes up, we'd have a strong minority. Now, the voting ain't done yet. Don't let them tell you that this is all self-destruction. What did the Conservatives do wrong? The Conservatives did nothing wrong. The media, Elections Canada, and the government with all of their universities is what did the Conservatives and Canada wrong. And I'm going to throw a whole pile of evidence at you. Okay, let's go straight to this. Oh, 1 second here. You know what? I'm gonna do the Green Party first. Green Party first. Here we go. For those of you who forgot, they weren't allowed in the debates.
We begin with breaking news in the federal leaders' debates. The first of those tonight in Montreal in French, set for 6 p.m. Eastern, 2 hours earlier than originally scheduled. There is a major breaking development in terms of the leaders participating in the debate tonight and again in English tomorrow. The Leaders' Debates Commission is rescinding its invitation to Green Party co-leader Jonathan Pedneau. The commission explains the Green Party no longer meets the criteria to participate, and that participation would undermine the integrity of the debates as well as the interests of the voting public. Now, according to Radio-Canada, receiving a text message from Jonathan Pedneau himself, the party is going to respond to all of this at some point this morning. But let's go through to Janice McGregor in Ottawa. Janice, you and I were speaking all through the program so far this morning of how it was controversial now, given what we know about the Green Party's not meeting those official 3 criteria to participate. Let's talk about the decision to rescind the invitation.
Are you ready?
Yeah, never a dull moment in this election, right, Heather? Always another twist here. Look, the criteria was clear. The Green Party needed to be running candidates in at least 90% of the ridings across Canada in order for its leader to participate tonight and tomorrow night. The simple fact...
Okay. They needed to be running 90%. They had to cover 90% of the ridings across Canada in order to be part of the debate. That is the Election Canada's criteria, or the debate commission criteria. The debate commission, we already know, previous episodes, is corrupt. They lost 2 lawsuits. They had to let independent media in. They tried everything to shut independent media down. When they realized they couldn't do it, they used, ready for this, more corruption, the police. They said there was a threat, corruption. They shut it down saying there was a security threat. None of that has been proven. The media has never talked about it since. We know why it was shut down. It was shut down because they didn't want Carney to be forced to answer real questions. Okay. Now, the Green Party wasn't invited because they didn't meet the 90% criteria. Listen carefully. They had to have 90% of the ridings in Canada. How many ridings does the Bloc have? Let me tell you. 78. They only run in one province. That's Quebec, and there's 78 ridings in that province. Why are they allowed in the debate? Okay. Corruption. Irregularities. How come there's no equality between them? Okay. Keep listening. This is where... Are you ready? Are you ready? Fetch the ball.
Fact is, they did not actually get that many Green candidates on the ballots across the country. And so in its statement this morning, the Debates Commission says that because the party intentionally, interesting word there, intentionally reduced the number of candidates it was running for strategic reasons, the statement says it no longer meets the intention of the rules that were set. Now, it also goes on to say that whether or not the party originally intended to run 343 candidates, that would be someone in every riding. As you know, it first said it would have at least 340 candidates. It apparently had submitted those names.
So you get the gist. So they're covering it, and she goes on, and this is what they talk about all the rest of the time. So this is what media does. So she stated the fact. Now she's carrying the lie. They're going to personify the lie. This is corruption. This is propaganda. Here we go. So now they're saying it wasn't the 90%, but it was the 90% because they purposely pulled candidates in order to help another party beat the Conservatives. Do you see what this is doing? They're whitewashing you people. They're whitewashing you. Previous episodes, I show, come right out of Elizabeth May's mouth, that them and the Liberal parties have done this in the past. In fact, the Green helped Jagmeet Singh get his first seat to get him in to power because he was a perfect sail boy. He would toe the party line. He would take away votes from Conservatives and would follow everything the Liberals wanted to do. We've always had one party. Just now they're eating each other alive. More corruption. But wait, there's more. It's not just the news. It's the entire broadcasting system that's involved. Especially when you get into the arts. Like these fake comedians.
Peter Anthony, and I'm on the hunt for Pierre Poilievre. The team at 22 Minutes needed someone to go undercover with a very specific trait, looking kind of conservative. It was time for Mission Pierre Impossible. My team and I had to look the part, so we made shirts and posters, tracked his flight, then secretly mic'd me up. The goal, touch him, or at least give him a gift that would touch him. Pierre, come say hello. Pierre, I know you're in there.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Pierre, hey, you got a gift. The rally, I got a gift for you. Come on, you're the common sense hero. I got close enough to smell his bus, but he denied my gift. I would have to up my game and try again in a rally full of real conservatives. Yeah.
Are you listening to the words? Right? In a hall full of real concerns. Everything about this spoof is derogatory, is hate, is meant to cause, give me the 3 words, audience, fear, hate, and division.
What unites us is the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can achieve anything. Canada first for a change. Let's bring it home!
He's busted.
Pierre, I'm Peter Anthony from 22 Minutes. You haven't returned our emails. Are you okay? We've been checking out the polls. We got a shirt for you.
See you later, buddy.
It's all for you, the common sense hero. Pierre!
You see, Pierre knows what the CBC does. That's why he said he's going to defund it. But it's not just CBC. Every media outlet that is part of the CRTC is paid off by the federal government, by the Liberal Party. How do you battle the strongest tool in any government's arsenal, stronger than the military? This has been an uphill battle the whole way. And it just keeps going and going. Now, let's talk about this ballot. Yes, that is a ballot. This ballot is purposely there to target and make it difficult to vote. There are already complaints coming from seniors. The disabled, they actually targeted the disabled because the disabled know Poilievre's plan, what Poilievre wants, is actually going to help the disabled. It purposely targeted the weak, made it confusing, made it hard, and believe it or not, that had to be folded a certain way. There's a science, there's a system you've got to follow in order to make that legal, which again, there's issues about that. Now, were they all folded right? Were some of them thrown away because they weren't? We don't know this. None of this is coming out. Although we do have a whistleblower I'm going to tell you about. I'm going to let him tell you at the end of the show. So this is the actual website you go to when you want to look up all the candidates. These are all the candidates in the Carleton riding. This is them. Now, if you look really carefully, you'll notice something funny. The name of the official agent for all of these independents is the same. Thomas Swastika. Swatch. Whatever. Look at them all. Now, these are there so that you can go to these sites, which they don't tell you about, but you should know this as a voter, so now you know for the next election. And you should be able to click on all the candidates' names. And it should take you to their site or take you to a phone call or give you an address or a picture and tell you about the person that wants you to vote for them. Open, transparent election, right? Wrong. Before we get to all of these names, including the couple I found that are deceased, let's look up the brains behind the operation. And he's a Brit. And he teaches at he's part of the Besner lab at the Waterloo University. This is where the schools kick in. Now, what do they do at this lab? You're going to love this. I study propaganda, remember? I'll read it to you. Our research primarily focuses on basic reading and attentional processes. Main areas of research include automatic. I am so tired, people. I've been up way too long, pushing 30 hours here. Automaticity. What is automaticity? Man. The ability to perform a task, skill, or behavior without conscious thought or effort, typically as a result of extensive practice and repetition. It's like the brain autopiloting when performing a task, allowing for focus on other things. Are you catching this yet? What else does it specialize in? Semantic processing. Semantic processing refers to the cognitive process of understanding the meaning of words and sentences, including both lexical semantics, so individual word meanings, and a broader conceptual knowledge. You getting this? It also specializes in intention, which refers to a mental state where an individual desires or aims to perform a specific action, while control involves the ability to influence or direct the course of events or actions, including those related to intention. The relationship between intention and control is complex and can be understood through various perspectives, including the theory of planned behavior. It also deals with the mental set. The mental set refers to a tendency to approach problems in a way that's familiar or habitual, potentially hindering the ability to find new or different solutions. This can involve fixating on previous successful methods, even when they are not the best approach for a new situation. Mental sets are essentially a form of cognitive rigidity, where individuals become entrenched in a particular way of thinking and problem solving. People. This guy, he's a professional at mental propaganda, verbal propaganda. Everything that he's talking about is the stuff that scientists were working on back when they were trying to make perfect soldiers for, the man with the little mustache way back then that caused hundreds of, thousands of people to die and almost eliminated an entire race of people, religion off the planet. Yeah. These are the types of things you see in sci-fi movies and even normal TV. In fact, you've heard about many of them where they've been proven right, that the government actually did to the people and citizens. Nasty stuff. Now, who would possibly hang out with somebody like that? Either somebody who's trying to do the same thing, or maybe figured out a way that you could design something to purposely throw somebody off, confuse somebody, make somebody not want to come and do something like a ballot. The kicker to this is all of the other names. I started looking them all up. Now, when you actually go to the ballot, you're supposed to be able to click on a name. And it should take you to that person. Hear the clicker? Nothing. Nothing. I'm going to call this guy Alain Bourgault. I'm going to call him. There's no numbers on any of the other ones. There's a few that you can contact with. For the most part, these people either don't exist or they don't want to be found. Why would Elections Canada allow candidates to be put on one of the most powerful documents and protected documents in a democracy? This is, read it, Elections Canada, Voter Information Service. You're supposed to be able to find the candidates, look them up, see their face, people, and find out who they are. If they're there really running without a darker motive, you'd think Elections Canada would be on this. Why aren't they? I clicked on names. And I clicked on names. Some of them I found. Some of them took me to dead websites. Others took me to dead people. Then I got into a whole bunch that were linked through a very leftist, we'll call it film industry, which seemed to be tied to, I don't know, like government grants and universities and liberals and NDPs. So why are all of these not on that page? How come I had to spend hours upon hours, let alone weeks prior, hours upon hours? I bet you I'm 30 some hours in just on these people. Now, I don't want to pick the wrong people. I don't want to dox anybody. My right as a voter says I should be able to see every face. I should be able to read what every person on that ballot has done and has to offer me. As a voter, it's my right. They broke the law. Elections Canada has broke the law. Now, if you go to a real candidate, let's try, Pierre Poilievre. There's a phone number. Interesting. There's a website. Look at that. Up pops his page. I can find out all I need to know about Pierre Poilievre. Let's go to another. Let's pick out the Liberal. Sure. Why not? Where is that goofball? Let's see. What is his name? He's a funjoy or a fun boy. Right. Fanjoy. Right there. Phone number. Website. There's the goof himself. Remember that face? That's the face of the fascist people. Don't forget this. Don't forget who these people are. All of these other names with no contact information, no way to find out who they are, no way to realize in any which way if they're worth voting for, are illegal. This is illegal. This whole document is illegal. Which means this whole constituency, this whole riding needs to be redone. Not only for the confusion that Elections Canada, right there, allowed to happen, they deceived, they purposely confused, and they placed people on there where we have no idea who they are. They could be criminals. They could be dead. This one in 2012. And you'll get to some, like I said, where they'll actually give you the link. But when you get to the link, there's no information. They show you the writing. This is the whole page. That's the end of it. Done deal. Nothing else to see here. Doesn't tell me anything about their party. Doesn't tell me anything about what they've done. This is it. This is Pierre Gauthier. This is illegal. This is a scam. Our own Elections Canada is corrupt. This is what Pierre's had to deal with. And the media's allowed this to go on and not said anything. And the only reason they bring it up is because people are bringing it up. Going, hey, why are there 91 frickin' people on a ballot? And what I find, not a single one of them live there. Well, Liberals are good at this, even the NDP. I mean, Jagmeet Singh didn't live in his riding. I know a guy personally tried to move to a different part of a province, and good thing he ran Liberal. He never made it, not in that province. This is what they do. We need laws. First we gotta abide by our own rules. This is illegal. Elections Canada allowed this to happen. The media pushes the narrative, and it's not over. How do you fix a system so corrupt? Don't blame Pierre. Pierre did wonders. He actually did wonders. He should have won a minority government if we had a real Elections Canada. If we had at least a small amount of media through the government-regulated CRTC that weren't taking checks and could tell the truth. If we actually had a proper debate commission that wasn't owned by the Liberal Party, we might have had more swing voters. They stacked the entire deck. They gave everything they could to stop Pierre. And guess what? He still got a very strong percentage of seats. Don't let all the naysayers out there be like, wow, we got to get rid of Poilievre. Look, we flopped. We just sunk. No, we didn't. We actually did very well. We should have done better, yes. All of us little mainstream outlets, all of us little independent outlets, this is why we keep telling you, please, like and share. And subscribe and hit and punch the notification bell. But you got to share. You got to like and you got to share. You got to build us up. There's hundreds of us. I keep showing you more and more and more. There's great journalists out there that are doing like I just did. Nobody's talking about this. I don't have a staff. I make no money. I make zero money. This doesn't get me nothing. I got to build a fan base, and I'm talking numbers. I need huge numbers before I can get peanuts, because YouTube takes most of it. TikTok don't give me crap. They don't pay me. Facebook don't pay me. I can't put most shit on there. If I call it news, oh, sorry, can't have that on there. Even if it's from the Vatican. Oh, sorry, can't have that on there. Censorship. Control of the media. Control of the entire democratic process. Because if you can do this, if you can allow 80-some names of people that you can't even trace or find, and I'm finding them and they're dead, hello? Where's the cops? Oh, right. All of the top cops are appointed. I think after seeing this, before I was in agreement. I could see why the West would want to separate. It made sense. I never said not to. It's their choice. Okay. How do you fix this? I don't think you can. The police were coming out in droves. Who were they endorsing? Poilievre. They're not allowed to say anything. They're under an oath. And even if a few did, after losing their job, do you think mainstream media is going to put them on the air? Have they talked about the document, the open letter to Carney? Have they read it to anybody? No. This system, it's not flawed. It's not broken. It's completely corrupt. The entire system is corrupt. Now, I normally trust, I have faith in humanity. I know there are losers out there. There's people that hold that red card, and they will, if you put the man in a little mustache up there and told you to raise your hand 45 degrees and white people and put them in, burn them, there are people in that Liberal Party, lifelong card holders, that would vote it. They don't care. They don't care. They don't want to learn. They don't want to know. Their mums and dads were Liberal card holders. Their grandma and were card holders. They're completely... you can't cure that. But I really was thinking that at least the voting, the voter box, the people in there would do right. I really thought, and after a lot of people contacting me and a lot of stuff I'm seeing, and then this guy, I don't know. I'm caught. Listen carefully.
So something is really fishy with what's going on with this election here in Canada. I was supposed to be working for Elections Canada tonight in Durham region, which is just east of Toronto. And so what my job was is when the votes are done at each polling station, they get brought to the office. I was there to make sure all the packages were sealed, all the documentation was in order, so then the votes can be tabulated and counted. Not a single vote in Durham region had been counted yet. None of them had been brought to the office yet. Then I go on my phone and I see CTV declaring the Liberals the winners. It's like, how is this even possible? Here we have, one of the biggest areas just east of the GTA, Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, Uxbridge. Not a single vote counted, and then, CTV says the Liberals win. And then CBC follows in that. This reeks. How is this even possible? Something's fishy. Something's not right. There's got to be some sort of investigation into this because it's not right.
This happened, and I was going to talk about it on the show, but I had so much documentation, and I'm already going to hit 45 minutes or longer. This ballot, first of all, heads got to roll, people got to go to jail. Without an electoral system, a protected electoral system, we do not live in a democracy. We don't. How long has this been going on? How many other things has Elections Canada allowed? They've been allowing the vote splitting and tampering for generations. The police should have been called in and charged Elizabeth May the second she opened her mouth and gave it away. And by the way, there's footage going back 20 years I found of parties doing this. And guess what parties? Always the lefties. It's always the NDP and the Liberals. Always. I've yet to find a conservative do it. And trust me, I'm looking. If I find a conservative, I will put them on. This is out of control. So Pierre, the party, the fascist party, if you've watched my previous episodes, you've seen what's been going on around the world. They have been jailing false accusations just in time for elections. And then they call an election, and now Buddy can't go to the election because he's in the spotlight. Then he's got it. Well, what do? Well, you put a new part, and then all of a sudden the party's falling apart because there's all these rumors, and then all of a sudden the guy's proven innocent, but it's too late. The other party kept power. Or they just take you and throw you in jail because they own the Supreme Court. Kind of like Canada. All appointed. Or the government finally does take over and all of a sudden 2-3 parties get together, join up, and with the help of the Senate, stop every single legislative or bill or even charges going through the system to start looking into the crimes of these parties. We're there. We are there right now. It's all being exposed thanks to small independent outlets. I have got 24 hours of videos I've got to catch up on to see what all of the other independents like Juno and Rebel, and there's so many great outlets out there. I'm behind. But this was priority. And I know it may not sound that big, but this is huge. If you don't have an electoral system, you don't have a democracy. They just crushed an entire party by decimating its leader on purpose. They might as well put him in jail or fake charged him. Because the media is slandering the living daylights out of the Conservatives right now and saying things like, he should step down. He should step down. Oh, he has to step down now. Oh, he has to.
I think it's very clear, regardless, we'll see what happens inside his own riding, and we're being very careful because advance votes and all those kinds of things. But he was definitely laying the groundwork that he has no intention of leaving, and he was pointing to the proof points as to why he deserves to stay and continue this fight. And I know you think that he will. I do know people who are already gearing up to try and push him out. We'll see what happens.
Well, I know a lot of Conservatives in Canada, and I haven't heard that from anybody. Not to say they don't exist.
Well, they exist. I don't know if they...
Are you listening to this bullshit? She's doing her job. She was probably over at Trudeau's yard sitting down with Carney today. They're all best friends. I don't know a single real Conservative that right now, that's the first thing on our mind is that Pierre's got to step down. I've never heard it. I'm surrounded by Conservatives. Not one person's mentioned it. She knows Conservatives. You don't know Conservatives. You don't even have real Conservatives on your show, Rosie.
They tell you, but they told me.
They won't tell a Conservative, but they'll tell her, a Liberal? Propaganda.
He certainly has. He certainly has earned, in my view, the right to stay on as leader, for the reasons I've already articulated and that he did tonight.
Hear her? She's doing her yeah, like a Liberal. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. La. Yeah. Propaganda. It doesn't end. It just keeps going and going. And for all of you out there that say vote splitting doesn't do anything, here you go. Right there, PPC candidate, 781 votes. What's the difference between these two? Right. Vote splitting doesn't do anything. And these are the quacks celebrating that we're elected. You tell me, does this look like a Canadian to you? I gotta mute that for copyright rules. Really? Yeah. There you go. The handicap squad. There's no other way to put it. We're so... We're in huge trouble. We're past trouble. And now, like I said, don't be disappointed. Well, be disappointed, be mad, but we've been warning you, all the little media's been warning you. I wasn't aware, like, the ballot blew my mind. I've been pacing floors, reading paperwork. My contacts I'm talking to, they're like, holy shit, what the hell did you just run into? Nobody can find these people. Who are they? I've already seen a couple social media sites. They're exploding on the separation. Do it. Do it. You have to. And guess what? You're going to get a lot of people that are going to be moving. I already know of a few that have left years ago because of politics out east. and the schools. It was their kids and the people around them. They couldn't tolerate it anymore. They came out here. They're making way better money. Housing is cheaper. Food is cheaper. The life is way better. Further west you go, better, better, better. Like I said, I'm all over Canada. I live in Ontario. I live everywhere. I've got this is just my summer. I'm here nor there. But I tell you what, I'm in. I'm in. I'm putting my name on that referendum. I suggest you do too. Because I don't think this is fixable. I honest to God, I don't think we can fix this. And like I've warned everybody, this is the end. What this guy wants, what the Liberal Party has already set in motion, let alone all of the corruptions and the scandals, the theft of tax dollars, the missing money, we've just given him the ability to hide even more money, more corruption. Are we ever going to see the SDTC scandal? Are we going to see his companies on there? No. I didn't think I'd actually see the day my country crumbled. I think the foundations are gone. I think it's falling. And judging by how my phone's going off, social media is going off. Yeah. I don't think you can save it, people. Wow. What a day, what a night. Way more stress than I thought I'd be dealing with. I was thinking worst case scenario, we'd have a minority government, and at least once we started exposing the corruption, be able to grow the government into into a majority. But it's not looking like good. Now the good news, I guess, if there is any good news, is that it is a minority government. And there'll be those who are, non-separatists, who are still blind to the most of the corruption. And they'll be saying, oh, don't worry, 18 months. They only last 18 months. How long did the last two minorities last? Right. So far, the way the numbers are, if the Bloc and the Conservatives get together, they still can't defeat this minority government. Do you think the Greens and NDP are going to help? No. They're the uniparty. Frustrating times, people. Now I think I'm going to go puke because of my nerves, and I'm starting to come down, and I'm really tired. Can't believe Canada just did this. I'm literally in shock. Like I said, the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and getting the same result. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you are, punch that notification bell. Get the word out. I'm going to keep diving in on this. I got a lot more hours, but I think I'm just going to go die on my couch for like 8 hours straight. Blah, big pile of drool. I'll have to let my dogs out so they don't wake me up. This is crazy. What a night. Well, you guys, I'm Alias the Guy. You've been watching the Canadian Citizen Journal. Stay informed.